The AC in that Victoria Island boardroom hummed like a tired generator, fighting a losing battle against the thick humidity seeping through the glass walls. But no amount of cool air could chill the boiling betrayal hanging heavy in the room. 23-year-old Kemi Dawson leaned against the floor-to-ceiling windows, her eyes fixed on the chaotic ballet of Amadou Bello way below. Danfos swerved wildly through the gridlock, horns blaring like impatient market women haggling over prices. The spicy aroma of suya from street vendors wafted up, mixing with the salty tang of the nearby Atlantic breeze and the faint metallic scent of impending rain. It was Lagos at its rawest, relentless, alive, unforgiving. Just like her thoughts, weaving through layers of rage and disbelief. Behind her, the millennial XX sharpened their words like cutlasses hidden in velvet sheaths. They tossed around buzzwords like synergy and stakeholder alignment, but Kemi knew the real game, plotting her professional takedown while pretending it was all business. She's too aggressive. Too unfiltered. The investors won't get her vibe, they expect Polish, not passion, one of them muttered, his voice dripping with that faux concern that older folks used when they were really just intimidated. Kemi stayed perfectly still, her back to them, channeling the wisdom her grandmother in Ibadan had drilled into her since childhood. Omo amai, the wise hen doesn't cluck until the fox reveals its teeth. Let them expose themselves. Grandma's proverbs were her armor, forged from years of market trading and outsmarting cheats in the dusty streets of Okadu. Kemi had grown up hearing stories of resilience, how Grandma turned a small yam stall into a thriving business despite jealous rivals. Now, in this glass tower of corporate vultures, Kemi let them talk. Let them dig deeper into their own grave. Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel with a story that's straight fire, resilience, revenge, and that unfiltered Gen Z glow-up we all crave. Drop your city in the comments right now. Is it Lagos hustle? Accra vibes? Nairobi energy? Josie flair? Or maybe you're tuning in from the diaspora in London or New York. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because trust me, this tale is going to take you on a roller coaster. It's for every young hustler who's ever been underestimated, gaslit, or straight up robbed of their shine. Let's dive deep into it. That viral thread she dropped last week. 2.8 million impressions in under 48 hours. Chidi, the CTO, chimed in. He was the type, slick hair, designer glasses, always flashing that Rolex like it proved something. But Kemi knew the truth. He jacked her custom algorithm 3 months back, tweaked a few lines, and paraded it as collaborative innovation in their team meetings. Impressive numbers. Yeah, but it was way too confrontational. We gotta protect the corporate image, you know? Can't have investors thinking we're running a street protest. Corporate image. The words landed like sour agusi soup in her stomach. Lies wrapped in pretty packaging. Kemi had built Afrolink from scratch in her cramped UNILAG hostel room, surrounded by the constant hum of generators and the chatter of roommates debating jollof rice supremacy, Niger versus Ghana edition. It started as a side hustle during her final year. A fintech platform connecting Gen Z Africans to microloans, investment tips, and no BS financial literacy. No more begging banks that treated young people like risks instead of resources. She talked real about SAPA seasons that left pockets empty, the corruption in traditional banking that funneled money to the elite, and how financial exclusion was a deliberate trap to keep the youth powerless. Instagram lives at 2 a.m., TikTok breakdowns of stock basics, Twitter threads calling out predatory loans. 10,000 users ballooned to 100,000. Then 1 million. Now 5 million strong across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and even spilling into Senegal and Uganda. It was her baby, her revolution. Then Meridian Ventures came knocking. Those American-schooled Nigerian millennials with their VC millions and glossy pitches. "We're here to scale you up," they'd said over coffee at a fancy Six cafe, the kind where lattes cost more than a full meal in Yaba. Series of funding, corporate tie-ups, expansion across West Africa. Kemi had signed on, eyes wide with excitement. But 6 months in, it was a nightmare of microaggressions, stolen ideas, and slow erasure. They wanted her user base but not her unpolished truth. Her innovation stripped of its soul. The board's worried about her personal brand. Funk, the COO, added now, her Ankara blouse perfectly tailored, her voice laced with that imported MBA polish. She spoke in euphemisms that screamed superiority, words that hid the real message: you're too much. Too young. Too African in the raw sense. She's got talent, no doubt, but perhaps she's not quite ready for this level of responsibility. We need someone who aligns with our values. Values? Kemi almost laughed. Their values were profit over people, silence over speaking up. "Say it plain," Kemi finally said, turning slowly. Her dark skin glowed under the fluorescent lights, her passion twists swept over one shoulder like a warrior's braid, ready for battle. The room's energy shifted, the air thickening like Lagos traffic at rush hour. "You mean I'm too young, too black, too loud for your sanitized world? Too real for your fake synergies?" The silence was deafening. Even the distant thump of Afrobeat from a car outside seemed to pause, as if the city itself was holding its breath. Funk's smile cracked just a fraction, a masterclass in passive aggression. "Kemi, darling, we're all on the same team here. We're just concerned. Concerned enough to push me out of my own creation." Kemi's voice stayed calm, but inside, it was the Atlantic churning before a storm, waves building to swallow ships whole. "You've been diluting my shares behind closed doors, making unilateral decisions, repositioning the platform for some imaginary professional crowd that doesn't exist. You want Afrolink without the Afro, the cultural heartbeat. Without the links to the real people grinding in this economy, the ones facing siege every day. Without me, the one who built it from nothing." Chidi shifted in his seat, his Rolex catching the light like a guilty flash. "That's not fair, Kemi. We're building on your foundation." "What's not fair," she cut in, her Yoruba accent thickening with raw emotion, rolling like the Augun River in flood season, "is that you're terrified of someone who doesn't need your validation to thrive. I'm 23. A woman. I drop SAPA in meetings and call out how this country chews up its young dreamers, and that shakes you to your core. Because you've morphed into the exact gatekeepers we're dismantling, the ones who went abroad, came back with accents, and now hoard opportunities like they're finite." The room froze. Funk's composure slipped, her eyes darting to the others for backup. Chidi stared at his notes, suddenly fascinated by the table. Kemi walked toward the door, each step deliberate, her white sneakers whispering against the imported marble floor. The sound echoed like a countdown. "Where do you think you're going?" Funk stood up, panic threading through her voice, cracking the corporate facade. "We have that crucial investor pitch in an hour. You can't just..." "You have an investor pitch," Kemi replied, hand on the doorknob, her voice steady as granite. "I have a company, a movement, to reclaim." She stepped out into the hallway, the door clicking shut behind her like the end of an era. The elevator ride down was a blur, the glass walls reflecting her determined face amid the descending skyline. Out on the street, the Lagos chaos enveloped her, hawkers shouting, Okada zipping by, the scent of akara frying nearby. She had nothing but her phone, her unshakable dignity, and a rage so pure it could power the entire city through its infamous blackouts. What Kemi didn't know, what she couldn't possibly suspect, was that across the street, at the bustling Mr. Big's outlet where office workers grabbed quick puff-puff and zobo, a man sat watching her every move. He'd been waiting for this precise moment of fracture. And everything she thought she understood about betrayal was about to be rewritten, layer by painful layer. The Uber inched forward on Falomo Bridge, trapped in the eternal snarl of Lagos traffic. Exhaust fumes hung thick in the air, mingling with the salty ocean spray from the lagoon below. Kemi stared out the window, her mind replaying the boardroom scene like a bad Nollywood rerun. How had it come to this? Flashbacks hit her, late nights in her dorm, coding while her roommates blasted WizKid, the first user testimonial from a Ghanaian student who invested her first 5k naira thanks to Afrolink. It was more than an app, it was hope digitized. Then her phone started vibrating like it was possessed by an angry spirit. Notifications flooded in, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, even WhatsApp groups from UNILAG alumni she hadn't spoken to in years. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she swiped open X. #Afrolink scandal was trending. Number 3 in Nigeria. Climbing globally to 7. Her hands shook like leaves in a harmattan wind as she clicked. The thread was a gut punch. Screenshots of internal Meridian documents leaked anonymously. Her original pitch decks, the ones she'd shared in confidence during those early VC meetings, now being peddled to competitors like cheap market goods. Her algorithm, painstakingly coded during sleepless nights fueled by Gary and Red Bull, repackaged as Pan-Africa Finance Solutions. Chidi's name slapped on the patents. Funk listed as co-founder, as if she'd lifted a finger beyond smiling for photos. They weren't just pushing her out. They were obliterating her existence from the narrative, rewriting history in real time. "Auntie, you dey cry?" the Uber driver asked, glancing back through the rearview mirror, his voice soft with that typical Lagos concern for strangers. Kemi touched her face, surprised by the hot tears streaming down. I'm fine," she whispered, but the lie tasted bitter. She was watching 2 years of sweat, dreams, and breakthroughs get stolen live, monetised by the same people who'd toasted to her success with champagne she couldn't afford. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something, instinct, desperation, perhaps the same fate that had guided her grandma through tough trades, made her swipe accept. Kemi Dawson. The voice was male, deep, with a British Nigerian accent that hinted at elite schools, London summers, and effortless dual citizenship. "Who's asking?" she replied, wiping her eyes, trying to steady her voice amid the honking outside. "Someone who knows exactly what Meridian did to you. Someone who can help you reclaim it all, and then some." She sat up straighter, the bridge traffic forgotten. "Who is this? How do you know?" "My name is Neo Whitmore, founder of Catalyst Capital. We back African tech startups that the big VCs are too blind or scared to touch. I've been tracking Afrolink since your launch from that UNILAG dorm. More importantly, I've been watching Meridian's moves to gut it." Kemi's breath caught in her throat. "You knew this was happening." "I suspected. Now, with that scandal breaking, it's confirmed. The real question, Kemi, do you want to fight back, or let them win and walk away with your legacy? If you're glued to this right now, beautiful souls, drop a comment below. Would you trust this mysterious voice on the line, or hang up and run? Is Neo a savior or another trap? And don't forget to subscribe. Because the twists in this story are about to hit like a Lagos downpour. Let's keep going. The traffic finally crawled forward, merging onto Ozumbambadiwe Road. Kemi stared at the Bar Beach waters glinting in the distance, dark and unpredictable, much like her future. "I want to fight," she said, her voice gaining strength. "But I don't know you from Adam. Why should I trust you?" "Fair enough. Let's change that. Meet me at Orchid Bistro in Ikoyi. 1 hour. I'll show you proof, and together, we'll map out how to dismantle them brick by brick." He hung up before she could protest or question further. Kemi sat back in the Uber, notifications still pinging like fireworks, and made the decision that would redefine everything. She'd trust a stranger because the trusted ones had already proven themselves wolves in sheep's clothing. But Neo Whitmore. He carried secrets heavier than Lagos traffic, and by the time Kemi uncovered them, turning back wouldn't be an option. The game was on. Orchid Bistro was peak Lagos pretense, a haven for the elite pretending to be casual amid expensive minimalism. The air smelled of fresh-baked chin-chin and overpriced oat milk lattes, with soft Afrobeat remixes playing in the background. Burna Boy's smooth vibes underscoring conversations about disruption from people who'd never disrupted a thing. Young professionals in designer athleisure lounged, scrolling LinkedIn while sipping drinks that cost a day's wage for most. Kemi spotted Neo instantly. Corner booth, laptop open, exuding quiet confidence. Early 30s, perfectly groomed beard framing a sharp jaw, wearing a simple black t-shirt that screamed understated luxury, probably more expensive than her monthly rent in Yaba. His eyes scanned the room with the assessor's gaze of someone born into privilege, never having to claw for scraps like she had. Their worlds were poles apart, she realized in that moment. Hers, a grind from Ibadan roots to UNILAG hustle, every opportunity fought for tooth and nail. His, silver spoon, international Polish, doors opening on command. "Kemi." He stood as she approached, extending a hand. His grip was firm, assured, no hesitation. "Thank you for coming. I know this is a leap." "You said you could help," she replied, not sitting yet, arms crossed like a shield. "Prove it. No fluff." Neo's smile was genuine, appreciative, not the condescending kind she'd endured from Funk. He seemed to expect her directness, respect it even. He spun the laptop toward her. The screen lit up with an email chain that made her stomach drop. Meridian Ventures internals. Chidi. Funk. And a name that sent ice through her veins. Tombra Investments Limited. "You know Tombra?" Neo asked, his voice low, intense. "Everyone in Niger business knows Tombra." Kemi shot back. Old money powerhouse, political ties deeper than oil wells, the kind of firm that could crush industries or build empires on a whim. Meridian's been in secret talks to flip Afrolink to them for 8 months. "No heads up to you. They've rigged your shares, found a title but zero voting power on acquisitions. Tombra buys in. You're erased. Gone." The room spun slightly, the bistro's chatter fading to a buzz. That's straight up illegal." "Barely legal," Neo corrected, his tone gentle but unyielding. "Buried in the fine print you signed. Clause 7.3, subsection B. Did you have a lawyer vet it?" Flashback, 21-year-old Kemi, buzzing with excitement in that first VC meeting, signing papers amid promises of glory. No funds for legal help. Couldn't afford one. They knew that, didn't they? "They banked on it," Neo said, eyes flashing with shared anger. "Predatory tactics. They've done it to dozens, young founders desperate for cash, signing away their futures. It's a system designed to devour the innovative. Kemi finally sat, her legs giving way under the weight of it all. The cafe's aroma turned cloying, overwhelming. So, what now? Sue. I don't have the cash for lawyers who'd drag this out for years. Neo's expression hardened, strategic. We fight smarter. Not in their boardrooms or courts where they'll bury you in fees. Gen Z way. Publicly. Brutally. With ironclad receipts that the internet can't ignore. He clicked open another folder. I've got it all. Emails plotting your share dilution. Screenshots of Chidi copying your code line for line. Funk's messages joking about managing the little UNILAG girl till we phase her out. Proof that hits like a hammer. Kemi leaned in, scrolling through the digital arsenal. How the hell did you get this? This is insider stuff. Neo's smile turned sharp, enigmatic. Let's say I have friends in shadowy places, people who've been burned before and now play the long game. Something shifted in her then. Rage evolved into strategy, a plan forming like code compiling. You want me to leak it all? More than that. Control the narrative before they solidify theirs. That #Afrolink scandal thread? It's their opening salvo, framing you as the unstable founder. Hit back with facts, and the tide turns. He was right. She felt it in her gut. But angles mattered. What's in it for you, Neo? Nobody does this for free. He leaned back, closing the laptop with a soft click. Catalyst Capital invests in the screwed over. We provide resources, legal backup, fair contracts. In return, a small 10% equity stake, non-voting, so you keep full control. Afrolink thrives, we thrive. Simple. That's it. Skepticism lingered. That's the business side. He paused, his voice softening, revealing a crack in the armor. Personally, I'm sick of watching brilliant minds like yours get crushed by gatekeepers clinging to relevance. It hits close to home. There it was, a personal wound, hidden but raw. Kemi saw it in his eyes, a flicker of old pain. She weighed it all, the risks, the unknowns. But Grandma's voice echoed, when the fox circles, don't run, build a better trap. All right, Kemi said, extending her hand. Deal. Let's burn their house down. The thread went live at 9 p.m. sharp. Kemi sat cross-legged in her cozy one-bedroom in Yaba, the generator rumbling outside like a loyal guard dog, the faint scent of leftover jollof rice hanging in the air. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, posting with the precision of a surgeon and the fury of a storm. Thread. How Meridian Ventures tried to steal Afrolink and erase its founder. Receipts inside. Buckle up, fam. She unloaded everything. Screenshots pixel perfect, emails unredacted, contract clauses highlighted in glaring red. Then a raw video selfie, no makeup, just truth. They wanted my brainchild without my heartbeat. My users without my unfiltered vision. They couldn't fathom a 23-year-old woman being the genius driving it all, so they tried to silence me. But no more. Within minutes, the internet ignited. #Justice for Kemi shot to #1 in Nigeria, cracking global top 3 by the hour. Tech Twitter erupted like a festival. Nigerian influencers reposting with fire emojis, Ghanaian creators adding their own VC horror stories, Kenyan users debating in threads. News outlets pounced. CNN Africa, BBC Pidgin, TechCrunch Africa. Her inbox flooded with interview requests, solidarity messages from strangers across the continent, even diaspora celebs chiming in. But amid the support, threats slithered in. At 11:47 p.m., a text from an unknown number. You've declared war, little girl. Hope you're ready for the fallout. Funk. Kemi screenshot it, appended to the thread, and now the threats roll in. But fear. That's their weapon, not mine anymore. The net went wild, likes, shares, debates exploding. If you're living for this comeback energy right now, drop her in the comments. Have you ever been backstabbed in business? Share your story below, and make sure you're subscribed because when the vultures strike back, it's going to be epic. Neo called at midnight, his voice buzzing with excitement. Kemi, you're a force. Meridian's investors are scrambling. 3 have already bailed. Tombra's pausing the deal for due diligence. Good, she replied, but her voice trembled, adrenaline crashing into exhaustion. You okay? That thread was masterful, but I know it's heavy. I just torched my career, Neo. What if this backfires? No, he said firmly, like an anchor in choppy waters. You reclaimed it. Trust the process. And, there's something I need to tell you. About why I'm in this fight. Her pulse quickened. Go on. 5 years ago, I built something game-changing, an AI platform for African farmers, optimizing crops against climate chaos. Revolutionary. Meridian swooped in, promised partnership, then stole it all, patents, code, sold to a US giant. I was left with nothing but lessons. Kemi's breath hitched. Neo. I'm sorry. I couldn't fight then, no proof, no leverage. So I rebuilt. Catalyst is my revenge engine, helping others avoid my fate. When I say I get it, I mean it, from the gut. The pain in his tone was palpable, an old scar reopened. Why wait to tell me? Wanted your trust based on actions, not pity. Didn't want you seeing me as broken, just an ally. In that vulnerability, a bond forged deeper than business. They talked till 2 a.m., childhood tales, her Ibadan market days, his London boarding schools, shared dreams of a fairer Africa, the isolation of ambition in a crushing world. By hang up, it wasn't just alliance. It was connection. Spark. The counterpunch landed 48 hours later, swift and vicious. Meridian called a press conference at their 6 headquarters, cameras flashing like paparazzi at a Afrobeat concert. Chidi and Funk stood podium front, lawyers flanking them like bodyguards, faces etched in somber professionalism. We're deeply saddened by these baseless allegations, Funk intoned, her voice honeyed with false empathy. Kemi Dawson is undeniably talented, but young and inexperienced. Her recent outbursts, public rants, conspiracy claims, point to emotional instability unfit for leadership. We wish her well, but facts must prevail. Gaslighting on a national stage. Calling her crazy, unhinged. Kemi watched the livestream from Neo's sleek Ikoyi office. He'd insisted she crash there after threats amped up, her yabba flat feeling too exposed. Rage ignited in her chest like dry bushfire. They're flipping the script, making you the villain, Neo said, standing close, his presence a steady warmth. I see it, she snapped, jaw clenched. And it's sticking, look at the comments. X was split, half rallied with #stand with Kemi, half parroted ungrateful Gen Z playing victim. We hit harder, Neo declared, turning to her. Something unspinnable. Like a lawsuit. Not just IP theft. Fraud, breach of duty, racketeering. We eviscerate them so every ally flees. Costs a fortune. I can't. Catalyst covers it. Every kobo. This transcends you, Kemi. If they skate, it's open season on the next founder. We end it. She searched his eyes, this man who'd materialized like fate, understanding her depths. Why go this far for me? His hand rose, hesitated, then cupped her cheek gently. Because you echo who I could have been with backup. And you're extraordinary. I won't let them dim you. Electricity crackled. Dangerous. Inevitable. Neo, she breathed. He kissed her, soft, then fervent, years of regret and hope pouring out. Kemi responded, hands in his shirt, world narrowing to this moment. Breathless, foreheads together, we win this, he whispered. Together. Together, she echoed, belief blooming. The lawsuit detonated like a bomb in Lagos's tech scene. Dawson v. Meridian Ventures. Founder accuses VC firm of systemic fraud and theft. Neo's legal squad, top-tier Lagos sharks, crafted a 37-page masterpiece. Damning evidence, testimonies from other jilted founders, forensic code breakdowns proving theft. The community boiled over. Medium think pieces proliferated. LinkedIn turned war zone. Young entrepreneurs flooded with their own exposés, birthing a movement. #founder rights, #stop VC abuse, #I stand with Kemi. But Meridian fought dirty. Countersuits for defamation. Cease and desists flying. Platforms pressured to nuke her content. Connections weaponized. Speaking gigs cancelled, brand deals evaporated, her bank accounts frozen under investigation. They aimed to break her utterly. At 3 a.m. in Neo's guest room, Kemi scrolled the onslaught, weight crushing her spirit. A soft knock, Neo, 2 steaming mugs of milky tea. Can't sleep? He asked, concern etched. They're winning, she whispered, voice cracking. Doors slamming shut. What if it's all gone? He sat beside her on the bed, setting mugs down. We forge new ones. Kemi, you've won the intangible, truth out, standing tall. They can't erase that. But Afrolink, my users. A vessel. You're the source, your brilliance, fire. If it falls, we rebuild grander. I swear. Tears fell as she looked at him, ally, lover, rock. I'm exhausted, Neo. He drew her close, arms enveloping. I know. But no more alone. I'm here. For good. They held through the night, Lagos's nocturnal symphony outside. Distant generators, night hawkers, occasional laughter. 2 souls, scarred but mending in each other's light. The trial dragged 6 grueling weeks in a Lagos Island courtroom, air thick with tension and the faint scent of rain on concrete. Meridian paraded American lawyers, character assassins painting Kemi as troubled, misguided. Witnesses spun tales of her instability. But Neo's team. Ruthless precision. They shredded lies. Timestamps on code proving Chidi's copy-paste theft. Audio leaks of Funk's shady deals. Whistleblowers from Meridian's ranks spilling beans. Chidi crumbled on stand, admitting plagiarism under relentless cross. Funk's poise shattered facing her mocking emails. The gallery buzzed, journalists scribbling, supporters outside chanting #justice for Kemi, signs waving like battle flags. Twist unfolded mid-trial. Kemi discovered Neo's shadow friends were a Gen Z hacker collective he'd mentored, young Africans waging digital war on corruption, from Nairobi coders to Accra activists. His aid. Part of a larger dismantle the old guard network. The judge's gavel fell. Victory. Meridian ordered to cede Afrolink control, pay hefty damages, face fraud probes. Tom Bra fled the mess. Funk and Chidi. Careers torpedoed, fleeing to obscure overseas gigs. As verdict rang, Kemi turned to Neo, victory tears shining. "We did it." "You did," he said, hugging her amid cheers. 6 months on, Afrolink soared. 10 million users, expansions to more countries, true partnerships. Kemi and Neo built a life and legacy, a foundation mentoring young founders, fair contracts ensured. On a TEDx Lagos stage, spotlights blazing, Kemi declared, "They tried breaking me, cause my light exposed their darkness." But resilience. It's not surviving, it's thriving brighter. Refuse dimming. Shine unapologetically. Lagos roared approval. Hey, fam. If this epic fired your soul, smash like, subscribe for more African tales. Takeaway. Comment. How's Kemi inspiring your hustle? Peace and power. Raised fist.